So I'm going to try to do the show while my cat's attacking my feet. It's
Yes.
going to be a tough. It's going to be a tough lift here. Tobin Templeman's in the house. What's up, Tobin?
Maybe you could.
Good morning.
Wow, you got you're like rubbing your hands,
Yeah.
feeling it. Good video, by the way, that you did. Very, you leveled up on the special effects there. I see, Mr. Templeman.
Mm.
Thank you. Thank you. Yeah, I want to keep on pushing in that direction. I even want to
Yeah.
play with some claymation. That would be fun.
Claymation is a work of art, my friend. That's what that is.
Mm.
Yes.
Yeah, you need a little Ray Harryhausen in you.
I don't know who that is. Is that a famous?
He's the
claymation?
guy who did all those famous Sinbad films with claymation and stop motion.
The Skeletons.
Sinbad.
Yes.
Remember?
The
I don't know
famous-
if you ever saw that. It was a movie, I think, from the '60s or maybe the '50s.
Yes.
And it was like Sinbad's sails the seven seas, and he's fighting off these animated skeletons, but the skeletons are all in claymation.
All right.
And-
I'm gonna have to find this. Yeah.
Yeah, you can see.
Oh, wait
clips
a
of that
minute.
on YouTube.
It's like pirates.
Yeah, it's like that. It's like
Sure. I'll
basically
find a link for you.
yeah. Yeah.
Right on.
So Big Z, I'm sorry. You were saying something earlier, and I got completely distracted.
No, we were just welcoming our friend Tobin. I was going to say something, but it was just chit chat, and I don't remember now. Here is a link.
Les Claypool did his own claymation on his videos. Oh, D Parks, thank you. Yeah, I forget to ask people to do things. What's up, Jenna? I hope you're doing okay.
Here is a link in public chat to Ray Harryhausen. Read all about him, and I'm sure his movies are mentioned there, but I will check. Yes, Jason and the Argonauts.
Jason and the Argonauts, that's it. Yeah.
Voyage of Sinbad, the seventh voyage of Sinbad, and Mighty Joe Young. And he used stop motion.
I think what was that movie in the 80s? Wrath of the Titans. I think it was Wrath of the Titans. I think that was a big claymation thing too.
Clash of the Titans.
Clash
maybe.
of the Titans, yes. Clash of the Titans. There was a horrible remake of it a few years ago. But Clash of the Titans was a classic, also kind of stop action special effects.
Mm.
You know what I want to see, Tobin Templeman, is the outtakes of you moving the little characters over and over again and slowly
Yes.
descending into madness. You know, a little
Yeah.
60-second video of that, maybe a 15-second video,
And,
slowly.
and then the camera pulls back, and we see that somebody is moving Tobin a little bit.
Oh, that would be Kendra. That would be Kendra.
Yeah.
See, now
I
that's
love
a
their
funny
videos. They always make me smile.
I like where y'all are going.
Yeah, see, we're workshopping this whole next video right here.
Oh,
This is the
shit.
process.
Yes.
All right. I like this. All right.
And this,
Hello,
yeah.
Cryptomeria.
Hello.
Hey there, Crypto.
Hey. So is this really going on in Canada?
This is
didn't
whatever this is that this is live, and this is all being broadcasted over on YouTube right now. So that's what this is. Whatever
Doing
this
out
is,
in the middle of the internet.
whatever this is the show. This is the after show right here.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah. So, so that's I don't know. Yeah. So I once again, good job.
We don't
on-
have to talk about that. I mean, I've kind of said my piece on Twitter about that one.
So,
Mm.
Cryptomeria, where are you? You're
In
Canada?
Victoria.
In Victoria. All right.
Victoria, BC.
Which is British Columbia's capital, which is
Yeah.
on Vancouver Island,
Yes.
which is kind of strange that the capital is on an island offshore. But it is a very lovely
No,
place.
we have a moat against the rest of the country. It's beautiful.
Oh,
We have
okay.
castles. Yeah, that's why it's the capital.
Well, you think, and you raise a good point, Cryptomeria, because you see like a lot of cities were built originally for that reason, for defensive reasons, right? You see Paris being built on an island.
Mm.
You see Venice being built basically on a swamp or in a lake. so that it offers defenses against people on the mainland. So that's it makes perfect sense to be in a
It's
defensible
also
position.
most states or provinces or countries have one city that is the capital and one that is the banking center, and that's Vancouver. So it makes more sense to have that on the Lower Mainland.
Okay.
Well,
It's better for travel, better for flights. Nobody really cares about what's going on in our government.
Does Victoria have an airport?
Yeah, we do. Yeah, it
An
used to be
international airport?
$99 to go to Vegas before the pandemic. $99. I could go on a weekend for $99.
wow, how about that?
Yeah. It sucks now. It really sucks now. I want a spa day.
Victoria is where the Trans-Canada Highway number 1 begins. There's a marker at 0. Wow.
Yeah, another Terry Fox statue.
My girlfriend.
It's also a Pokemon spot, so if you're into that.
Tell me more about the Pokemon spot. I'm intrigued about this.
The Pokemons?
It's a Pokemon spot, so if you're going to play the game, there's a lot of Pokemon hanging out there.
You don't play Pokemon Go, do you?
I don't. My kids, for being a man of a certain age, I'll say this is that I know more about Pokemon than most people my age.
Yeah.
Just because of my kids.
But you've probably never really played the game.
Never. There are a lot of things I know, but Pokemon.
It's awesome.
I've heard good things about it.
Well, have you ever heard of Ingress?
No.
Ingress was the game that Niantic developed before Pokemon Go, where we were the test bunnies for that game.
Oh, cool.
Niantic used to be with Google, and then I don't want to say sold out. I'd like to say moved on to Nintendo, and then it became a fad. It became like this pet rock. It's still going, but I just when they transferred ownership, and I was like, this is going to go bad, and then it did go bad, and Ingress was, instead of it was like a global game of capture the flag.
Oh.
So you're playing again. No, it wasn't. People were running each over with cars. Moderate, punching each other, stalking, moderate. This is why Pokemon Go has no chat. But the Russians would set up fake accounts, and they were worth 50,000.
Oh my God!
I kept thinking I could pay off my student loan if I just sold my email.
Wow.
Yeah.
Crazy.
Yeah, it was like, those coins the Marines get?
Coins?
Yeah, the Marines get coins. Military gets special coins.
I did not know that.
I did not know that.
Well, I got one from them. Well, from the game, from Google.
Sure.
But the whole thing was you had to match up 3 points. So you needed keys to 3 points.
Mm-hmm.
So you can link across countries, but you need the keys to get there. But you can only give a key to a person in person.
Oh, in person?
Yeah, you cannot send them.
Are you sure that's the front for a second?
It's you should Google it. It's an interesting game.
If I was playing a game in a virtual world, I would want to. This is just me personally. I would be interested in staying in the virtual world.
I've basically walked across Canada and back. I just like walking.
Oh yeah. I do like playing like fantasy role playing games. Like
I like those. Yeah.
and I like playing that in person because even though you're supposed to, you can kind of be on the same team, right? You're all
Yeah.
adventuring together. Um, when you see other people's faces, you can kind of vibe what they're thinking, and I think it's easier. It's easier
Yeah.
to act in a team that way, and it's more fun. To tell you the truth, that's what I found.
I have a strange role-playing game story for you.
This isn't going to
It's
get this channel
dirty.
banned, is it?
No, it's not that kind of role-playing game. The
Darn.
man who created, everyone has heard of Dungeons and Dragons,
Sure.
but there's this enormous addition to that world called the Forgotten Realms.
Yep, that's true.
And the guy who did it, his name's Ed Greenwood. And I rent a room from him here in lovely Canada.
Oh,
And
nice.
I live in his house. We get along great.
Aw.
And I don't know a thing about role-playing games.
That's very cool.
I guess. But what I know about role-playing games, strangely enough, it didn't stop me from writing about them on a project he was working on. So I wrote all this role-playing game stuff.
Yeah. Oh, that's interesting. That is interesting. Jesse Bear writes, in the military challenge coins are proof that you are a member of a unit or served on a specific tour of duty. They mean you are a member of an elite group of people. I think we should just make our own challenge coins. That's what I think, right? Maybe
Aren't all coins challenge coins? I mean, you somehow managed to get hold of them.
Yes,
Via
indeed.
work.
Mine was stolen.
Stolen.
I even know the guy who did it. Yeah.
Wow.
It's okay. Karma happens, and it's only, you can't take stuff with you. So.
Well, that's what I found. That's what I've heard, at least, is that you can't take stuff with you. Yeah.
No. Some people try, but I think Elon's trying.
Well, people try and they make the rest of us miserable. That's what it is.
Well, all you take is your legacy.
And and I don't want to bring the room down, but even that, you could be like the best, like for an example, the most kindest and most genius caveman, right, or cave person, we don't know their name, Imhotep, the Egyptian, obviously, the Egyptian architect who did the step pyramid, right?
And then in The Mummy, he was just this awful villain. Yes.
It made me so angry. When you talk about like menial stuff.
He was awesome, but they needed a villain, and he had a cool name. So, and it's not like that was an accurate movie or anything.
It would be as if in 2,000 years from now, there was some kind of media, and they just pick out of the hat Albert Einstein. We're going to name him as the baddie. I was like, no, that's wrong. Or Isaac Newton. That's I get angry about that. And there was a kid show too. There was a cartoon show where Hopetep was also a baddie too. It was like, so irritating. Oh, you just learned about LARPing? I've LARPed. Live action role playing.
One place here, they have 30 acres, and people spend the whole weekend just in the bush with swords and.
Oh yeah.
But it's such a huge property, and it's all in the rainforest.
Oh wow, that's
LARPing. People. It's cool.
So for LARPing, it's like basically there are different types of LARPing. It's live action role playing. And what I did for a short period of time when I was much, much younger was Nero. It was New England Role Playing Organization. And it was like Dungeons and Dragons outside. And you would go down for a weekend, basically, and you could do adventures. And I had a buddy of mine who was a metal worker made me a metal breastplate with,
That's cool.
It was really cool. Shin guards and arm guards and everything, and I had a two-handed bopper sword, right, that I made with PVC piping, duct tape's very important, and of course foam around it. But it was a lot of fun and you do get it was a crazy time. That's what it was. But it is expensive, and it takes a
It
lot.
is an investment. It's a labor of love, and
It is.
it's a lot of people. It's part of their community.
Oh,
You
yeah.
know,
Yeah.
it's like a family almost. Yeah.
And for me, I was just, work got in the way, and I'm cheap. Everyone, I just don't like spending money, and so
Just out of curiosity, um, instead of Death on the Nile, you could have Death on the LARP,
oh, you
and
could.
have a murder mystery set among the LARPing community. I think it would be. I think almost no one would be interested in it except for me.
There are some small. I think there are some documentaries out there. I saw one documentary on a gaming group, a LARPing group. I forget what service it was on, but they're out there, and you can probably see some LARPing stuff on YouTube. I'm sure there might be a couple of full documentaries or some, snippets out there. You're right, Jesse Bear. Civil War reenactors are an old example. They
I
are.
think those are cool. And I
Yeah.
think that's actually a healthy way for people to go through history.
Yeah.
It's because at the end of the day, you all go to a barbecue and, laugh about it.
Yeah, it's funny that you should mention that.
You work it out beforehand so nobody gets hurt in this fake battle.
Right.
And I think we cannot hide our history. We need to address it. And that's a good way for communities to kind of come to peace with it.
A buddy of mine, of course, because I'm up, I always like to tell this to my Southern friends, or at least my Republican friends, that here up here in the North, our statues are all for the good people, for the white hats in that conflict. And a buddy of mine, I ran a July. Well, I did a July 4th barbecue every year for when I cared about things, when I had a home, when I owned a house and everything, when I was married. And a buddy of mine, young guy, he had just come in from doing some LARPing, some Civil War reenactment, and he was in his uniform, his union, and that was wool. So he was in basically his wool uniform on July 4th, pretty freaking hot. But he's dedicated to what he was doing.
Heck yeah.
Well, it sounds like it takes a lot of dedication. I've seen members of the SCA, Society for Creative Anachronism, who have a ton of stuff they have to keep in good shape in order to do what they do. It takes a lot of room to store just an ordinary shield, for example.
It does. And the SCA, I've known a couple.
I like them, yeah.
Yeah, good people. But yeah, I spend most of my time now just writing crappy jokes, doing this show, and doing the Only Sky stuff, and getting drunk on occasion.
Mm-hmm.
I kind of just want to go back to video games and normal. You know what I mean?
Well, it's an interesting question about how do you choose to spend your time, right? And definitely the way how I spend my time now at 53 is much different from how I spent my time in my 20s and in my 30s. Yeah.
Yeah, there's a big contrast between that and me.
Yeah,
for sure.
yeah. Let's not talk about my 30s.
Yeah. Well,
the 20s, doing much better now.
That's good. I'm happy to hear that. I was, where I work, I'm the oldest person there, and I go out of my way to make sure I don't do the granddad wants to tell you some stuff about things.
I know the feeling.
It's like, I'm just going to joke. I'm just going to be, a happy guy, do my thing, And yeah.
Well, it's hard, but also I think because I've been so much in the gaming community, like I didn't get married, I didn't have kids, I just sort of stayed right, So I've always been more on the young side. So
Sure.
I have moments of that, but
To tell you the truth, I think that if
people have them more with me.
if I wasn't obsessive about the work that I do now, and I will say it's an obsession, I would probably go back to my earlier obsession, which would be role playing games. It would probably be because you can spend a lot of time doing Dungeons and Dragons, or I played a lot of Marvel superheroes, Champions, Rune Quest, all this stuff. Yeah, it's. But now I find it satisfying doing whatever the crap I do now. Nihilist says, "Don't crap yourselves. We all role play all day." Yeah, well, this is a good point.
Exactly.
This is what an adult. This is what a
Yep,
functioning
yep,
adult
yep.
would act like.
Yeah. Fake grown up.
Yeah, fake grown up, right? How would I act if I was me, but a better version of me? How would that work? What would I say?
Man, it's something that messed with me for a long time. Was my grandfather looked at me after eating dinner at a restaurant. We were walking out of the building, and he looked down at me, and he made eye contact with me, and he said, "Life is hell getting old." And I was
Yeah, they
that,
all
like,
say that to
stuck-
you. It's like
that
things.
like stuck with me. I was like, man, I want to do everything I possibly can to be able to enjoy whenever I get,
Well
a little
said.
bit older.
So how old
Like-
was your grand? I just want to know, because I don't know if there's a
The
certain
world's
line that things start going
breaking point.
sideways. Or how old was he?
He was somewhere like in his late 50s to late 60s, because I believe he made it to 70 something, or early 70s.
Oh wow. Well, that's
Hello,
Yeah.
Nicker. Happy birthday. Hope you have another good trip around the sun.
I don't know. The funny thing is, right? Most people get happier, right? There's the happiness curve. Most people right around 45 start getting happier. You're happy when
You
you're
just
young.
stop caring. It's like life
You really
gets
do,
beautiful.
Christian.
You stop caring. You just,
And I want to
I've had
feel
enough.
that.
It's not important.
It's I totally do. It's like I cannot tell you how many times I've said I've aged out of that. In terms of like BS stuff. It's like, I've aged out of it. I'm not interested. I'm not going to run my life like the YouTube comment section. I'm not going to do that. I have better things to do with my time. See, you like that joke, Tobin Templeman? You like that joke? Yes. I work on that. I work on jokes, when I'm not here, when I'm not in this space. I work on jokes. Yeah. It's just not worth it. You pick your battles. Your battles, especially those of us.
Oh yeah, you do pick your battles, and it's like the art of war. You never go into a battle that you don't think you will win.
You're effing right about that, and that, I've told people this before. It's like, you will notice that when I do decide to do something, right? When I do an interview, for an example, I over prepare, and I read the book, I know the person, and you fell for it. Yeah, I thought that was a joke there. I thought there was a joke there somewhere.
Oh my god, I'm so blonde. I fell for it too.
I didn't even get the joke. Why is Nick Pear's
I just got it. Oh my god, I'm so dumb.
I don't know.
Did
I'm
I
just
miss
ending it and going to something else.
Knickers.
I felt it was a trap. I didn't say it, but I thought I would show it just in case, right? Just to see what the joke was. But actually,
I needed a laugh. Thank you.
There you go. Well, this is what.
Oh, sorry.
Oh, no. Go ahead, Z.
Well, I was saying I got the joke name. I swallow cum. But I didn't get the Nick Care portion.
I just read half of
your
it.
knickers?
I read the knickers part, and I was like,
happy
birthday.
You don't have to do any more about it.
Yeah, okay. Yeah.
right?
I
So,
don't want to go into the trouble bubble.
yeah, exactly.
Mm. Oh, did we lose audio?
I don't think so. Do you have audio?
Yes, I do. It's just a weird moment there. Never mind.
Okay.
Oh, by the way, I deserve bonus points for not making the same joke reference to the Convoy song.
I appreciate that,
You know,
Big Zebra. I appreciate
avoidance.
the avoidance of it. Yeah,
Hmm.
indeed.
Bouncy castles, the new sign of hate speech.
Jesse Bear says we need Trouble Bubble merch. Maybe we do. Maybe we do. Have you noticed how busy I am lately? I've just been just between everything. I don't know what everyone else's schedule is like, but I worked for 9 hours yesterday because I went in early. So I was basically working from the time I got up at 6 a.m. in the morning till like time I got back home, and then so yeah. So if I'm not doing everything I should be, because I know there's a message on Instagram from Jesse Bear that I've just not gotten back to, and I'm sorry, Jesse Bear. I've just been cranking out stuff. You only see this is like the tip of the iceberg that you see when I'm here. There's like a ton of other crap that I'm doing, and consistently playing catch up. That's why I'm putting out fires and stuff.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's a pretty accurate description of me as well, too.
Yeah.
Many irons in the fire.
Many irons in the fire.
Yeah.
I just have a lot of drapes tired. That's my day.
What's that?
Just a lot of drapes. It's from like every few months, like we get this whole pile of drapes and shears, and I'm getting pretty fast at them. So
Cool.
yeah, it's like getting paid to work out.
Right. That's good. Yeah, that's right. Because I forget that I'm on the new channel here, or the old new channel, and I forget that none of you are moderators. So I have to make all of you who were moderators now moderators.
Mm.
So I just made 420 Atheist a moderator.
You don't have to make me a mod. It's okay.
Okay.
I
Nihilist,
have enough riches. Don't worry about it.
John Hudson is warning that I should never make another convoy joke again. He may be right, just for reasons of ethics.
Right.
Oh, well, that's okay. I'll make plenty of jokes about Justin Trudeau. That's great. No, I have a lot of material, like, if you want.
There was a wonderfully hilarious
I told
thing
it to him, in Twitter, so I think we're all good. We'll see how this goes.
Well, there was a hilarious thing where Justin Trudeau and his family were traveling in the U.S., and this was after he became prime minister, and there was some sort of water park, and they had pulled an image from a scene to show people enjoying themselves, having a good time, and it was a public image of Justin Trudeau and his family in a canoe. And it was being used in America as just sort of like the picture frame family when you buy a picture and it already has a photo in it. And I just thought that was hilarious. You've got the prime minister of the country, and they just figured they would use this. He looks like a model anyway.
Well, he's pretty but not smart. That's for sure.
Oh, pretty but not smart. There's yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, thank you, Jesse Bear. Hit like. So just to go over the fact that the reason why I'm doing this after show on this channel is because I want to see if the algorithm looks at the other channel better when it's just doing news and interviews and stuff like that.
Right.
So, and it has, it's only been one day, so you can't generalize from one data point.
What is the algorithm anyway? Does anyone even know?
Well,
I never look at mine on YouTube.
There are there are much smarter people than I am who know what the algorithm is. If you
I actually listened to Hank. Do y'all know Hank from the Sci channel?
Yes.
They do the science communication stuff. And
Sci stuff.
I don't know, he had some interesting things to say about it. I'm trying to recall something,
Okay,
but my memory is horrible.
I can
But
talk if you want
go
me to
ahead.
talk until you remember.
Mm.
Sure.
Okay, so algorithm, yeah, a lot of this is trial and error, and then you can see what other people are doing. So most people, and look at your own analytics. So most videos, people only watch videos for 6 minutes. That is the average time. If you're like super popular, then you can keep people watching the video for more than 6 minutes. But
Mm.
if you look at certain people like the David Pakman show or Bo of the Fifth Column, they specifically do 6 minute videos, a little bit under, a little bit over, because they know that people will only hold their attention for that one for that time period. Now, if you get people to watch all through the video, so you have a 6 minute video and people watch it all the way through, then the algorithm will say you're a good person or you do good content and we're going to promote your content.
Mm.
Different social media has different algorithm patterns.
Oh, Christian, you're singing my song. Um, so if anyone's noticed the Laughing in Disbelief channel, Laughing in Disbelief Facebook page, I think I kind of cracked it. I think I cracked the algorithm. So now the amount of how it's grown over the last month or two, it's been substantial. And I love talking inside shop stuff too, by the way. I love talking about it, and I never do because people's eyes glaze over. But yeah, I think I'm doing pretty well on Twitter and Facebook right now, and I think I'm just starting to figure out what to do.
I think I broke Twitter.
Oh, tell me about that. How did you break Twitter?
Oh, just I thought it was a video game, so I hit a high score on sending off a lot of tweets. It's not just the number of tweets you send, it's who you send them to, but it's also not just who you send them to, it's where you send them to in their personal sort of categories.
Yep.
You got to kind of, if you like, some people are just so busy that it's hard to get their attention. So if you send it off in a more quiet space, that they care about more, they're going to pay more attention to it.
Oh yeah.
Sometimes it's subtle ways, like just if you're trying to make contact with someone and like you want to work on a project or get a script together or something like that, it's an easy way to touch base.
It is. I've found a lot of good people on Twitter. Twitter just, Twitter can be.
I am totally trolling the Canadian government right now and having a blast at it. Yeah, they deserve it. They're idiots. Okay. Like, it's game over.
Yeah, okay. Well, you can do that too. You can do both.
Yeah. I'm doing it
either
politely. It is the Canadian government.
Yeah.
Except for Trudeau, he's just, we're done. Like,
so what was the breaking? So what was the breaking point for you with Trudeau, Crypto Maria?
When he lied on the news. Yeah.
Oh, about what?
The whole protest.
No.
We have bouncy castles, not neo-Nazis. I think that's rude to call taxpayers that. Yeah. The CBC was letting him lie. We had a media blackout. And the last couple of weeks were a little scary. But now it's all settled because we have UN watching us. So it's all getting settled. And I'm sure this will be over soon.
All right.
I mean, Canada basically decided no more. The truckers were the last industry not to get vaccinated.
Yep.
And 90% of them are. and these are the people who have been keeping the supply chains going. If only 10% of them say, I refuse to do this for religious reasons or bodily autonomy, that's in our Charter of Freedoms, it ends.
Well, I have to tell you something. Is
You
that, and I said
cannot
this,
force people to do that, and so they will refuse to work. This is how
and
it's
that's
going.
okay. I'm totally supporting people not working if they decide not to get the jab. And I think a lot
No,
of
Trudeau is trying to take away our Charter of Rights and Freedoms. He is trying to force private citizens to do something against their will, and that is not Canada. So this ended on Saturday. We had a rave. The world was invited. It's over. We're done.
I have to tell you, as an article of, I'm going to say this as an article of faith for me. It's like if a person decides, especially for truckers, right, who travel all around the country, if you decide that you're going to put like everyone at risk on your route for not being vaccinated,
There's
then,
only 10%, and
yeah,
by
but have
now
you seen
they
those
have
movies?
natural immunity.
Have you seen
This
those
is-
epidemic movies where you only have one patient zero and then it
If
spreads out just
no,
like that? That's Omicron.
they have such religious convictions.
That's fantasy
It
world.
is
It does not matter.
no,
It's not relevant.
no.
If you
It is
have
protected
deeply held
under the
beliefs in a
Canadian
fairy tale,
Charter of
that
Rights.
doesn't matter, Cryptomaria. All right, so you can say those are two different arguments, right? You can say that
This is how it's rolling. Those trucks are staying. Those trucks are staying. These people are protected under religious rights. There's only 10% of the population.
And I don't see how any atheist.
I don't care. I don't care.
You can say that this is what the Constitution says, and you can say that we should try to change the Constitution to change that.
This is the Charter of Rights and Freedoms. This is a different country. So you guys don't get trucks down there.
That should be changed.
Can I ask a question?
The rights.
Yes, Tobin, you go. Tobin put his hand up.
Rights protect us from harm, right? Rights protect us from harm.
Thank you.
So
we're losing ours in Canada, Andy. Do you understand?
If you're losing a right to kill people, I think I'm okay with you losing your right. If you're losing a right to put people who are immunocompromised,
we are losing the right.
That is okay. You do not have a right to make people sick. A trucker doesn't have a right.
Andy.
It doesn't matter what kind of crazy psychosis they have in their brain.
No.
They don't. It doesn't matter.
That's fine. You finish.
If they have this fallacious belief in a higher power. If you are putting other people's life at risk, then you don't have the freedom to do that. And if that's the law right now, then the law should be changed.
No, right now the law is the government cannot force someone into any kind of medical procedure.
Right, and I'm saying that the law
based on whether. No, if you agree with that, the government can go in and do whatever they want to your body, no problem, no how. That is what we're fighting for here, because we are losing that right.
You don't have a right to kill people. You don't have a right to kill
people. Okay.
You don't have a right to murder people.
Read my Twitter, and then get back to me, okay?
I'll tell you this right now. Thank you. You don't have a right to kill people. You don't have a right to put other people.
You do not have the right to take away someone's freedoms and let the government force them to do medical procedures.
Absolutely, I do, because governments are there to institute to save. See, now you just lose. Now I just lost somewhat. Probably lost it. And this is what I want to tell everyone too, as a point. I don't care if you're a supporter. I don't care if you're a YouTube member. I don't care if you're a patron. I will talk to you. I will say what I have to say. Right. And if you don't like it, then you don't like it. And I'm sorry, maybe this isn't the channel for you. I mean, I like Cryptomaria. We can talk about a lot of different things, but this is one of my hills I'm going to die on, is that you don't have a right to put people at risk. I've worked with people who have disabilities for over 25 years. And you know what? I got a lot of stories. One of the residential homes I was working at during the pandemic, we lost people within the organization because of the pandemic, because of coronavirus. And it's a matter of life and death. And I don't think you have religious rights.
I want to say, Cryptomaria has interacted with us for quite some time. I interact with her on other channels and Discord and stuff like that. But this is one of the topics that I completely disagree. I'm sorry, Cryptomaria. but
and you're welcome to come on. I mean, we can disagree to disagree. I mean, and we can agree to disagree on this topic, but it isn't like I'm not going to say what I'm going to say and challenge people when they say it. I mean, if you listen to me on the latest on one of Rob Stanley's shows, The Right to Reason, I got into a whole thing about women not being funny. There was a guest on who said that women just aren't as funny, or can't be money or can't be funny or aren't as funny as men, and that's like, and this was a Trump supporter, a MAGA guy, and I'm like, all right, I didn't realize this is the kind of show we're going to have, but. I don't go out. Obviously, I don't go out looking for debates, right? This isn't what I do. I do funny. I do news channel stuff. But if it comes down to it, if I'm caught, then I'm not going to back. I'm just going to talk. I'm just going to say what I think in the most rational way possible.
I have to say, I like Cryptomaria very much, but I don't. I understand disliking politicians, but when you have the critical care beds, the emergency rooms full, and sooner or later, and it's already happened, where somebody's going to die because they can't get a bed, or that surgery they needed is delayed and delayed and delayed because you don't even want to bring people into the hospital because of the virus. And also, you and I might get COVID and we might be fine. We might just get over it. But in the meantime, what if I talk to someone who's working behind a counter who has MS? Then they could die. I'm pretty sure MS is one of those vulnerable percentage of the population. And I'll always, my thinking is look to the people who have the least power. And that would be people who are vulnerable to the coronavirus. And flip things around a bit. That wanting to be protected when they are immune, vulnerable, and you insist, well, I have a religious right, not based on any religious doctrine, to not get an vaccination. I just,
I don't have to respect somebody's beliefs. I'm not gonna worry about hurting their feelings because I hurt their belief, because your beliefs can be wrong and they inform our decision making, and it's not going to hurt them to really challenge it and to think about it. Let's think about this here.
Yes, for example, I think I'm a zebra. People don't have to respect that.
Very good thoughts put into words, Big Z, from Dr. Mordecai. I totally agree on that. Spot on.
Well, thank you. Yes, I'm very eloquent for a zebra.
You are very eloquent as a zebra.
Are we?
And 420, I just want to say that 420 makes a good observation. This topic has taken down so many normal critical thinkers. No one's rights have to be taken. You will not go to jail, just like agreeing for drug tests for certain jobs. Don't want the test. Don't do that job. Exactly. 420. Well, that's the thing. There isn't, and people say that being a skeptic or being an atheist or even being a humanist isn't a political position. It is. It is a political position, whether you like it or not. And usually the people who say that come from a position of privilege, to tell you the truth. And that's why they can say that, is because they are privileged and they can just be in their bubble and not having to worry about the weakest members of society in any real way. This is the shittiest TED Talk there ever was.
Well done.
Oh, man. Yeah. And I don't like arguing with people, to tell you the truth. I mean, I like having a discussion. I'd rather, because here's the thing too, and I've been working on this for a bit too, is like, when you go into college, when you do college, right, and you go to a class, they don't teach you via debaters, right?
No.
You don't that's not the best way to learn. But I think a lot of people on YouTube think that the best way I'm going to learn about a subject is by watching a debate. And it's like, no, bro, because it's bros who think that way. That is not the best way. Go sit down on a legitimate channel with and learn something from, like, Thomas Westbrook. He does great work in terms of deconstructing the Bible, right? He does well-researched material. The stuff that I do on my other channel, right, on the Laughing and Disbelief channel, all referenced, all supported, right? In debates, it's not the royal road to learning about a subject.
No, it's not. Like, to me, studying and research is like fully reading through everything and then being able to take it apart and put it back together and even rephrase it, and check, others' work to see how yours compares. There's a lot that goes into study. Just watching something doesn't make you have the knowledge.
Yeah. Nihilist says you can have Spotify and not listen to Joe Rogan. I will say this, is that in the marketplace of ideas, if there was because there are a bunch of different services out there, if I could get a service that doesn't have Joe Rogan on it, I'd take that service over Spotify. Now, mind you, I'm cheap, so I don't have Spotify I get all of my podcasts from Podbean. That's the app that I use. I believe it is. So
yeah, there are a whole bunch of Stitcher is another one.
Yeah.
Where you can get any podcast on it.
I don't know if you heard about this story, is that right-wing streaming service offered Joe Rogan $100 million to jump ship from Spotify over to them.
Yes. So I don't see why he would violate his contract, though.
It's a good question. Well, that's if Spotify decides. I mean, it doesn't look like Spotify is going to get rid of Rogan anytime soon, but they are taking heat. There's no doubt about it.
Maybe a way to troll Spotify would be to use Twitter to give them ridiculous medical advice. And, look, if your kidneys aren't functioning, if you drink a gallon of castor oil a day, you should be fine. I don't know. Just something like that.
Jesse Bear writes down, just talking about stories. I think it's important to talk about people's stories too. Individual, and that's one of the things, and this isn't just a pitch for Only Sky, but this is what the creators of Only Sky are trying to do, is create this narrative flow, not just with the data, but real people, real stories. Like Jesse's here, got COVID in November. I'm still on multiple daily inhalers because my lungs are still not back to normal. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. I once had pneumonia. Then I had pneumonia again in both lungs. And after it finally cleared, I could not stop coughing. I was just coughing all the time. And it turns out I had contracted RDA, which is called reactive airway disease, which is not as rad as you might think. And here we have people spreading COVID.
Yeah. There's It is frustrating. I'm not going to lie to you. It is frustrating. The girlfriend and I were talking last night about, I don't know, some kind of situation, and I pointed out that there's this kind of background radiation that in every human interaction that we engage in, and that background radiation, the thing that is, and I know I'm mixing my metaphors here, it seems to be COVID. So people are more likely to pop off about, I think people, and in other pandemics, you can definitely see this happening, that pandemics just make people, I hear myself. No, I don't. Just make people more likely to pop off or to get agitated or to do crazy things.
That double talk kind of threw me off there for a second. You're saying that getting ill like that makes more people, or makes a person more close to being able to pop off or actually getting angry?
I think, well, one of the things that when I was training people on how to de-escalate people is that if a person is in pain,
Oh yeah.
or if they are, even if they're hungry or if they're hot or if they're cold, there are physiological primers to get you angry. Now, for someone who has like a respiratory disease, obviously they're just probably have less energy to begin with. But for other people, if there's, and also just because of the stress that the society has had because of the pandemic, that also primes people up to do things that they probably wouldn't normally do.
Right.
There was an incident, like the crazy Florida man stories that were normal. I think when after all this is done, when the pandemic becomes an endemic and scientists start looking at the numbers, you'll see that there's a spike in Florida man incidences, right? People just doing like, I wonder why they did that kind of stuff going on.
And Florida has that weird sunshine law. So it turns out, I think, that all these Florida man stories are actually happening everywhere, but we only hear about them because of Florida's law. I don't know how it works, though, and I'm not an American. I'm not really in a position to investigate. Also, because I don't care.
I think there's a whole subreddit that's Florida man stories.
Mm.
It is scary. Jesse Bear, it is scary stuff.
I even think it happens too where people see somebody who is feeling ill or has some kind of stress on them, and people will read into their body language and be like, oh, that person's a jerk, and then they can treat that person. I've seen it in the restaurant industry, working and stuff like that, with certain waiters or waitresses dealing with the public and being like they make this assumption, oh, that person's a jerk, and I'm like, have they eaten here before? Or you ask questions and they're like, no, I just read their body language. And I'm like, oh, wait, so you're telling me you can read people's thoughts and stuff?
Well done, Tobin.
I don't know.
Yeah, dude. Yeah. Once again, there's a psychological principle, a law, maybe a tendency at the very least, called the principle. And I forget the proper name for it because I've been running the show for the last hour and then doing the show before this. But it's the tendency that people blame others, have a tendency to rush to blame others. And when they see someone do something kind of sketchy or shady, they go, oh, this is their personality trait. This is just who they are. While they would do the same behavior and attribute it to environmental forces. So you see someone, I don't know, litter, and you say, well, that person's a litter bug. That person's just bad. While you litter, you could just say, well, I was really in a rush, and I just poured coffee on my crotch and I'm driving, so I'm throwing the coffee, out of the window because I'm angry, but that doesn't make me a bad person. So that's a kind of,
rationalization.
A rationalization. Yeah. The fundamental attribution error. That's the name of it, kids. You can Google that at home. Fundamental attribution error. Yeah, it's a sociological. I learned it in social psychology, actually. Principle, the fundamental attribution error. We as a species blame people, think that they're just bad people when you see them do kind of sketchy behavior. But when you yourself do the same behavior, you're like, I'm not really a bad person. It's just something in the environment that made me do this. Yeah, it's dangerous.
Okay, I'm putting the link to the Wikipedia article in public chat.
Thanks, Big Z.
Oh, I do what I can.
Yeah.
That's interesting. I've never heard. For a moment, I thought you were going to discuss the just world hypothesis. Just world
That's
hypothesis.
also the Just
Another
World talks.
important one. Yeah.
It's toxic. That's what it is. But yeah, I mean that's the thing. I mean, when you think about how education should be done right, especially middle school education, the kids should be learning about the fundamental attribution error. Kids should be learning about the Milgram obedience study. These are just basic points that everyone should know about.
Yeah. For sure.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm 40 now, 42, and I'm just now, starting to hear. That's the first time I've ever heard that principle or that fundamental.
Attribution error. I'm just going to keep saying it over and over again. So I can remember it on the fly. Yeah.
But yeah, I see that. I see that in like especially like in the restaurant industry whenever I'm working with other people, it was weird.
Big Zebra, I need to make you a moderator, which I just did. So now you can put links in. That's what 420
of course,
said.
right.
So
Okay.
thank you, 420
Here, I'll
for
put the link in again in case it was deleted.
reminding my stupid brain.
There we go.
Yeah.
Well, thank you. I now have a wrench just about everywhere.
Woo! Wrenches for everyone. Simply Secular Dave asks, did anyone see that the CDN's women's hockey team played a hockey game in N95 masks and won? I did not see that, dude.
Yeah,
Anyone who
CDN is short for Canadian.
Right. Anyone who says that masks restrict their breathing should get a better mask or get kicked in the shins. Yeah, dude. Yeah.
Man,
You're
that's
okay,
yeah. I'm just kind of reminiscing on the feeling of getting my shin kicked. That's stuff.
Yeah, it's painful stuff.
Mm.
And you're right. I will say this, that the majority of my kids' education in critical thinking came from me and not from the school, at least in their elementary and middle school. Yeah. And there's not enough in the secular community about that either. If I say anything, there's not enough like how to teach, young parents, how to talk to their kids, right?
Mm.
There's no owner's manual for children. Anyone who's a parent knows that. There should be at least some way to help shepherd skeptics through, raising skeptical thinkers.
I think part of the problem is that most of us think we're critical thinkers, and you think, of course, I'm a critical thinker, and you believe anything that comes down the pipe, or get caught in a scam. And I think it would be better to emphasize is that we want to be critical thinkers, but we're vulnerable to doing the exact opposite. And here are some examples.
Yeah, our default setting as a species is stupid. I keep hearing an echo, I think, from your mic, Big Zebra. You doing something different today? You doing weird stuff with your?
Let me check my settings because I do not have. I have your show on, but the volume should be set to 0.
Well, you know what? I think it's going to be a moot point anyway, since we're going to close out the show anyway. It's been about an hour.
Okay.
And, wow, this has been an exciting show. Once again, I hope I didn't say anything untoward towards Cryptomeria. I try not to. I try to behave myself, even when I get hot. So, there's. Yeah. So I'm gonna have to think. I'm gonna have to rewatch the tape. I think rewatch the video and see at a later time. Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah, we enjoy your company, Cryptomeria.
Yeah. All right, everyone. Shamala.
Shamala.
Take care.
All right. Bye.